Women get real. Elaine tells us a little more about how menopause has affected her.
I am Elaine and I am 44 and a half. 6 months are very important. And I am right slap bang in the middle of the menopause. So generally before you hit the menopause, you go through what's called perimenopause. That can last for a few years. I had obviously gone through that without realising. The only symptoms that I could tell you that I had were sore boobs and occasional cramping on my right side, my lower right abdomen, which I got scans and things for. They didn't find anything. They never once told me that it could be perimenopause or even related to that. The sore boobs were unbearable. I used to call them pregnant boobs because they're, when you're walking up and down the stairs, they're very painful, and they could last for weeks and weeks. So I have the merinocoiling, so I don't get a period. So if my periods were affected in any way, I didn't know because there were no telltale signs, which is the beauty of the merinocoil. But anyway, went and had a blood test about a year ago, and the doctor said, you are in the menopause. And I said I couldn't be, I have no symptoms. He said, to be honest, we could do this test again in 2 weeks and it could be totally normal. Your levels could be totally normal, so I wouldn't feed too much into it. If you don't have any signs, you're probably not going through the menopause. And then about 2 or 3 months ago, I just was getting kind of, the symptoms were like hot flashes or flushes, and I just wasn't feeling great. I started getting a lot of grey hairs, my skin changed, I was getting a lot of what I would call hormonal acne around my jawline. They did the test and the doctor phoned me 3 days later and she said, you're in the menopause. And I said, I feel like you've just handed me here's your card to your old club. Because I'm only 44, I'm quite young to be going through it. My sister didn't hit hers until she was in her 50s. So I reckoned I'd get another 10 years. But anyway, here we are. So I'd always heard people talking about the menopause and how it was bad, and I kind of thought it'll never affect me like that because I'll change my diet so that I don't get any of those symptoms. But I didn't, and the night sweats were killing me. They were the first sign, really, were the night sweats, when I would wake up saturated, having to get up, change my nightdress, t-shirt, whatever I was wearing, it would have been soaked through. Bedclothes, I would have to change the sheet every day, and just really unpleasant. And it's a heat that comes from within, so it's not like when you go outside on a hot day and you're roasting. This comes from within and it feels like you're entering hell. It's that bad. So again, tried to change things, started taking sage tablets, they didn't work. Tried to take a lot of flaxseed, which is supposed to help as well. That did help in that it stopped the sore boobs and the pain in the side. I probably had slightly less night sweats when I was taking the flaxseed, but it just wasn't enough. So I suffered it for a couple of months and then phoned the doctor and was like, right, I need something to give me this peace at night, like I'm not sleeping, because it does affect your sleep as well. I was waking up at 5 o'clock for months, or sometimes waking up at 3 o'clock, not being able to go back to sleep for a couple of hours. So it affects your sleep quite badly. And the doctor gave me this new product, a HRT therapy, that's a little spray that goes in your arm. It's so new, in fact, that my pharmacy, it took them a week to get it in because it had to come over from England, and with Brexit and everything else, it wasn't just as fast as it maybe normally would have been. But used it first day I got it, literally couldn't wait to get into the chemist and get it. Sprayed it, wasn't too bad that night with the sweats and things. Second night, hardly any sweats. Third night, completely gone. So I haven't had any symptoms since taking that. I don't really want to be on HRT for a long time, so I will eventually get to that diet that I've talked about that's supposed to help with symptoms. But yeah, it's very different for everybody, the menopause. A lot of women I've spoke to are in their 50s, mid to late 50s, some of them, and they're going through the menopause now. So I'm essentially like, they've got 10 years longer than I have. I didn't intend to have any more kids, but there is that sort of stigma when you're hitting the menopause. You're older. You're kind of an old lady now, you know, maybe not ancient, but it definitely makes you think about your life. And while as I say, I didn't want any more kids, I have 3, plenty for me. There still is that sadness that you're never going to be pregnant again or give birth again, because I loved doing both of those things. And yeah, the grey hairs keep coming, which is another little reminder. But yeah, I think it makes you take stock a bit more of your health in general. Like, I definitely take my vitamins on a more regular basis now, which I'm quite good at doing anyway. And just looking at things that I'm eating, like I try and stay away from a lot of chicken, because I know our chicken has hormones in it, and I don't want that messing things up anymore than they already are. So just something to take stock of. When I look back, perimenopause was possibly happening to me when I turned 40, maybe 41. And I know I did change in myself at that stage. I felt like, and I've said it before, I wish I had the balls that I have now whenever I was in my 20s, because I feel like I came into my own in my 40s, and that was possibly that start, and maybe it wasn't, who knows. But it's not a bad thing being in the menopause. You know, it's just you're in a different part of your life, and that's it. It's just that you've left another part behind type thing. But I know a lot of women go into like deep depression once they've hit the menopause. They're really upset that they can never have more kids and so on. Like I say, I had a wee twinge of sadness, but nothing, didn't shed a tear, you know. Mood wise, I'm okay. I think I've probably been slightly more even than normal. I'm calmer than normal, whereas a lot of my friends would say they got the crazies big time once they hit the menopause. I find that's not happening with me. It could still happen, I guess, but it's not happening right now, so I'm thankful for that. My skin has changed quite a lot. My skin's quite dehydrated, and my hair texture is changing slightly. My body is softer, but I haven't been to the gym in a year, so I'm going to put it down to that. I know when you hit menopause as well, your collagen levels drop quite a lot. So I do take a collagen supplement a few days a week. I should take it every day, but I will put more effort into that. But it definitely does drop your collagen levels. So that's when you start getting wrinkles and things like that. So it's worth, anybody that's going through menopause, get a good collagen supplement. Not tablets, because you'll need to take about 6 a day. Just get a powder form, and you take it in a drink in the mornings, and it's really good for your joints, your bones, your muscles, things like that. It's not just for your skin. Not everybody's as vain as I am, I guess, but and then yeah, I would say I'll probably need a few more trips to the Botox clinic in the upcoming years, but I'm totally okay with that. I forgot to talk about one of the biggies with menopause, which is anxiety. A lot of women get quite severe anxiety once they hit menopause. It's a different anxiety than I've always struggled with anxiety. It comes and goes, but this anxiety, it's deeper, it's more underlying, and it's like the devil that sits in your shoulder. It'll give you a wee tap every now and again, remind you it's there, but it's not enough to it's just not as rude, shall we say, as normal anxiety. But I know a lot of women do struggle with it. A lot of females, when they go to the doctor with their anxiety coming from menopause, are given a lovely little prescription for antidepressants, which is, and has come up in conversation with a lot of my friends, particularly my sister, who said, challenged her doctor on it and said, but I'm not depressed. I have anxiety. I am not depressed. My life is good. The anxiety just creeps up out of nowhere and sucker punches me. And she refused the antidepressants, and that was it. She's just had to learn to deal with it herself. So again, just something to be aware of. I think another thing that I forgot to mention was boobs. We are entitled to get a boob test done every year. Boob test, as I call them, mammogram. You won't get these from the hospital on a yearly basis. I think it's every 3 or 5 years that they'll offer them to you. But personally, I think once you hit the age of 40, it's something that you probably should be getting done every year. If it runs in your family, you should be getting it done every year from the minute you have boobs. Breast cancer is not something that affects predominantly old or menopausal women. So we're quite lucky over here that we have what I call the super value truck, and you can go on. They have fantastic nurses on there and a mammogram machine, and they will do it on board for you, and you can book that every year. There's no charge. You can book it online. All you need, I believe, is your health and social care number, and you go from there. So highly recommend getting the boobs out, girls. But like I always say, mammogram your boobs before you Instagram them.